early, and Johnny Benson got on the brakes hard, had a little too much rear brake, looked like wheel hopped a little bit.
Don't you just love these guys sorting it out for a lap or two, though? It's very tense. When you have a restart, you're on the outside, you're afraid you can give away 4 or 5 spots. We saw it happen to guys earlier. Taylor Mossum, I remember losing a lot of spots, and so it's nice when you finally get it strung out bumper to bumper so you can start to try to make some ground like David Starr's doing here on Todd Bodine.
David Starr trying to get by the 30 and take that 8th spot away from Todd Bodine. Adam?
You talk about Todd Bodine, Rick, and a moment ago, Ray mentioned Timothy Peters may be done pitting. Bodine may be in that same category. They came down pit road at lap 75. He has complained the truck is tight, but his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., said save fuel and take care of your tires. We may not pit again.
These guys are looking at what they have, Phil, for trucks, and they're like, we're not going to beat these guys if we do the same thing they do. That's why I love about Timothy Peters' strategy, and I understand where Hillman's coming from on that truck. We got to figure out a way to mix this deal up and get us some track position and see if we can keep it.
I think right now the problem for Todd, though, I don't think he has quite as good a truck as Timothy Peters. Timothy Peters has a truck capable of running in the top 5. If he can get track position, he may be able to keep some of these guys behind him. He might have a shot at his 2nd consecutive win here in Martinsville.
On this most recent restart, Timothy Peters restarted 18th, and he's made his way all the way up to the 11th spot.
And remember, he told his crew he was going to try to take care of those tires, baby them a little bit early in the going so they'll be around at the end. So if he's doing that and making ground, that's a great sign for that team.
He has a 3 of Austin Dillon right behind him. I saw Austin yesterday. I said, "Do you skip at school?" Remember, he's a freshman at High Point University. He said, "No, I don't have any classes on Friday. If you see me on Thursday, that means I'm skipping school."
A little bit of smoke out of the 4. That was him locking up the left front. That's Ricky Carmichael just in front of the 17. Here comes Austin Dillon trying to take the spot away from Timothy Peters.
Wow, great run for Austin Dillon. That's got to feel good for him, passing the guy that won the last time we were here, huh?
Yeah, what a great job Austin's done. He had a little trouble at Daytona early on, but had a great run in Atlanta. His best career finish here in the Truck Series.
You know, Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick have the same motors in their trucks that they ran at Atlanta. And remember, Kevin Harvick won at Atlanta. He's using the same motor he won with.
You know, Phil, what flips me out about that, we talk about Atlanta being a track where you keep your motor wound up. A lot of RPM. Heck, they run wide open for 10 or 12 laps. You think you need a lot of high-end horsepower. Okay, we're going to come to Martinsville. We got to get out of these tight little turns. We need a bunch of bottom end. Harvick says, by the way, that's the same engine I ran last week.
How about that? You probably get down to 50 miles an hour in a corner here, maybe somewhere between 50 and 60 miles an hour. In Atlanta, you probably never get under 150 miles an hour.
And very rarely are you ever out of the gas, and you use as much brake here as you do gas in Atlanta.
Johnny Sauter going by the slower lap traffic. Norm Benning in that 57.
Motor guys everywhere are scratching their head thinking, what about all those years when we were putting small carburetors on and little headers and tailpipes, all the things we were doing to try to squeeze some power out of these things down low. Here Harvick is leading the race with his Atlanta motor.
And remember what we're talking about. One of the rules that NASCAR has, you see Austin Dillon bump into the back of Ricky Carmichael. We see Ryan Sieg slow on the racetrack. One of the reasons that NASCAR does that, we'll caution on the racetrack.
We got fluid in turn number 2, and so that's why NASCAR has thrown this the 6th caution of the day.
But that's one of the cost-saving measures. Is NASCAR said, okay, you can only run no more than 2 races with a fresh motor. You have to run a motor that you have run somewhere else. We'll put a seal on it so we know that, and that's the situation we're talking about with Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon.
Okay, listen, if I'm going to pit for my 2nd set of tires, am I going to do it now? I mean, you're getting to a point where you can't afford to wait much longer. I believe these crew chiefs that are going to look at a two-stop strategy have to look at pitting right now.
I think so too. I don't think you want to go any farther than this. I know they'd like to have about only 80 or 90 laps, but I think now they can't take a chance. It's going to be very interesting. Looks like Kevin Harvick is moving towards the left side,
and he's going to bring everyone with him, with the exception of
Mike Skinner's going to stay on the racetrack.
He's crossed the commitment line. He is coming to pit road, and we will go to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, down on my end, Rick, it'll be 4 tires for this Fun Sand Chevrolet, and they'll also make a little bit of a track bar. Of course, they're sporting Sealmaster on this Thor Sport truck today. Johnny Sauter said rolling through the corners just perfect. I don't want any other adjustments. Adam?
And as Johnny Sauter wraps up his service, it will be Kevin Harvick Incorporated teammates Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick who will come to pit road. Kevin Harvick said, I would like to come, but Chilton said, man, there's a lot of race left. Harvick said, if I come, I'm going to bring them all with me. And that's pretty much what happened. 4 tires for Harvick. He wants to go back on some of the adjustments they made when they came down at lap 75. A few pit stalls behind him. Hornaday getting 4 tires as well, Ray.
Back of my end, disaster for the 13 and John Sauter. They had the left rear tire came off. They dropped the jack before the crew member got around here to put the lug nuts on. Johnny started to lead, and the tire was not connected. Big damage on the left rear left rear corner. Sauter will roll away. He's lost all his track position, and the left rear corner is beat up.
And that's going to be what's going to hurt Johnny Sauter's the track position. The damage on the left rear corner is going to be minor. We know he had one of the best 2 trucks here. I don't know that we'll ever get a chance for him to show it again.
I don't think so. He's lost all his track position, and we know how hard it is to pass. Let's check it out. What happens here on this pit stop?
Undoubtedly, they had trouble on the left rear, did not get the lug nuts on it. The jackman thought that he had gotten all the lug nuts on the left rear.
The jackman could see clearly the left front was on, and I don't think he got a good enough peek into what was going on in that left rear, and it cost him mightily.
Sign to the driver when to go. The crew chief will tell you, and they'll drop the jack, and that's what Johnny Sauter felt. Got into the gas. The left rear wasn't on yet, and so there you see the damage to the left side. But as you mentioned, the damage was done when he lost the positions. He went from 2nd to 22nd. It's very difficult to pass at Martinsville. It's very tight and hard to get around drivers at the paperclip. We'll be back. Green flag back in the air. The Kroger 250 underway.
6 trucks stayed on the racetrack. Kevin Harvick, the 2 truck, won the battle off pit road. He restarted 7th.
Wow. I told you it was all mixed up. You got Max Pappas up in the 3rd spot. Peters with his strategy gained that track position. Skinner with the lead.
Mike Skinner out in front of this field, Adam.
And the reason, because they did not pit under caution. I went down, talked to their crew, and said, was that part of your plan? Do you intend to come down pit road, or are you done? They said, yep, we were not in our window. Another 30 or 40 laps, we'll come down and get our final set of tires.
Check out.
Great side-by-side racing back here, guys.
Check out Brett Butler. He's getting a dose of what it's like to run up front with the leaders, holding down that 5th spot. Kevin Harvick dives the inside of that fuel doctor truck. But that's great experience for a young man like Brett, being able to run up there in the front, see what these guys are all about.
By the way, Ty Bodine had to give up his 10th position. He was found too fast exiting pit road. He had to go all the way back to the tail of the field, give away all his track position.
Skinner holding off Timothy Peters. He's got him by about 0.2 of a second, but that gap's getting closed now up front.
Max Pappas
up there in the 3rd spot.
Max diving in the 3rd turn, keeping up with these guys.
And Kenny Schrader running in the 4th spot. Kevin Harvick is now 5th.
Johnny Benson, the 15, getting by the 47 of Brett Butler. Good battle for the lead. Timothy Peters looks to the inside of Skinner. He's there.
See if Skinner gives him the room. He will. Here comes Timothy Peters for the lead. Coming out of turn number 4. It's a drag race into turn 1. Problems with Ricky Carmichael.
And he gets
into the side of the 23. Todd Bodine locks it up. And the caution comes out again.
Wow, that big crash for Jason White.
See, the right front tire's not even moving on that truck.
You got to figure the left rear of Carmichael's truck's going to be a mess too. The whole left side looks like took a hit. He was racing really hard with Austin Dillon. I don't know if those two got together.
Tough damage on that 23 gunbroker.com Dodge.
There you see the left side tires. The left front of Ricky Carmichael is down.
What a good run Ricky Carmichael had going here at Martinsville.
I watched these 2 trucks, Phil, starting getting down into turn 1. Let's check this out. They start getting together a little bit. You can see Austin in the back of Ricky. Austin in the back of Ricky.
Now he's going to pull to the inside.
But he's not there. He doesn't need to try to swipe that spot, but that's exactly what he does.
Well, then he hits the curb. We talk about that when you hit the curb. It's going to bounce you out into the truck on the outside. Chris DeVota told us in the setup, if you hit that curb, trouble's going to ensue, and it certainly did for Ricky Carmichael.
You know, there's a point in time, if you're Ricky, where you got to give the guy more than enough room, because if he squeezes him down, you know he's going to hit the curb. You know where he's going to go. He's going to go right into the side of you, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Ricky, you know, May could have given just a little bit more room, and then Taylor Molson comes along, makes contact with the 3 of Austin Dillon.
And poor Jason White, just the wrong place, man. He was down on the bottom of the track, and that's where Ricky was coming. There was nothing Jason can do. Let's go inside of his truck and watch.
He's going to see this develop in front of him.
Keep up what you're doing. You're pulling away from him. All right, back her down, back her down, back her down. Go high.
That just happens so fast.